Meet the Boss is brought to you by General Electric.
US President Barack Obama says, if we wait for the right time or the right person to make things happen, things may not happen because we are the ones to effect the changes that we want and we are the change we want to see. Today on Meet the Boss, we are talking to someone who used to be the king of morning show in this country. Kojo Oppong Nkrumah has done it all as far as morning shows are concerned. He hosted the Super Morning Show for so many years. Today he's decided that the ones or the people that he holds responsible, he will be like them, he will be a politician. Is it because he wants to effect change that he has always wanted the people he holds responsible to effect? Well, we'll find out on today's edition of Meet the Boss. Kojo, good morning.
Morning, how are you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
Good to have you.
Thanks for having us in your office.
Welcome.
Brownstone Capital.
Yeah, I'll fix you a cup of tea soon. No worry.
That would be lovely. And thank you once again. We are here basically to find out more about you up and personal. People know sides of Kojo Oppong Nkrumah. I want to reveal the other sides that perhaps they don't know. So let's start from the basics. How was upbringing like for you?
My upbringing was pretty simple. My mother was a teacher. Both of my parents were teachers.
Yeah.
And then my father went back to school and did a top-up degree and then got a job as a clerk in the bank and worked his way up, I think later to become head of treasury at Barclays Bank. My mom remained a teacher, so we lived on school campuses when I was young, from Ghana Secondary School in Koforidua. And then we moved to join my father later in Accra when he settled in the bank. My mom was then teaching at Wesley Grammar School. So I had the upbringing of a teacher's, child, myself and my siblings. And I mean, I'm sure there are many teachers out there or many children out there who are kids of teachers who are watching. It was a simple, average, a little below the middle class,
below
family. No, I mean, teachers don't earn much in this country.
But your dad was a big shot in the banking sector.
Well, no, he was now making his way up the ladder. So,
okay, so you had, would you say, a checkered economic background?
No, it wasn't checkered. Okay. But, we always looked up to many other people. Okay. We grew up, all of us as kids sharing one room, the boys on one bed, the girls on one bed, trying to make ends meet here in Accra and watch your parents struggle through. That's eventually when we came to Accra, and try not to disappoint them in school because you see how they are struggling and how they are pumping everything in education. So yeah, I had a pretty simple upbringing.
Okay, so you'd say that was a major motivation for you, seeing how they were breaking their backs to see you through school. Would you say that was the major catalyst
for me? It was a major pillar that quickly reminded me, and I think there was something major that happened in our family's history somewhere around 94, 95. My father, who was the one, who had, may I say, a higher economic status, suffered a major accident, a near fatal accident. He was in coma for several weeks. He almost lost his job. We had to sell a lot of the family property to, get him medical treatment and, take him abroad for surgery, etc. And our fortunes, even at that level, just, came down to zilch. And we had to go live with, other family friends, etc. And it very quickly made a point to me that at some point we need to become financially independent and not necessarily depending on one person's salary. Because if he pops dead or if something major happens, it means all our dreams, all our aspirations are gone. So I think right from the onset, I was very clear in my mind that we have to quickly make it to the top and get some sort of financial independence procured, which doesn't depend on one person's salary or the other.
I see.
And I think it was one of my major motivators.
Wow, that's interesting. Let's talk about you and what you do. So can I say you are, well, we know you as a broadcaster, but you're an investment banker of some sort. Your dad was a banker as well.
Yes.
Did that have some bearing on
It did. And again, like I mentioned, after my father's accident, he kept, and that's when we got closer as a family, because earlier, because of his job schedules, etc., we didn't spend a lot of time close knitting. But as we got closer, he kept making the point to us about how we quickly have to build that sort of independence. And so from the onset of this business, my father, and other persons in the family who've been close have had a very strong influence in building our structures and in picking a particular direction.
Okay, so you went to Pope John, then to UCC, then Joy FM, but there was a stint with was it British Tobacco then?
British American Tobacco.
Then. Before Joy FM. Some of us think Joy FM was the first job you got.
No.
Okay, so tell us about.
I studied commerce in school, finance, economics, management in Cape Coast University. And so when I graduated, I actually attended a business competition, and there were a lot of business leaders there to scout for fresh talent. And I led my team from Cape Coast University, and so there I had two business leaders who came up to me and said, I'd like you to come work with me. So one was Mr. Ken Gomado, who was at the time one of the finance managers at British American Tobacco, and Kwesi Chum, Chief Executive of Multimedia.
Oh, so that's where the relationship with Kwesi Chum started?
Yeah, and both of them...
You had a good head on your shoulders there.
Well, we're grateful to God. Both of them offered me a job that same day, and I was torn between choosing one or the other, but I chose both.
Okay.
So I would...
You chose both?
Yes, I chose both.
How did that work for you?
Well, initially it was very tough. So I would, come to Joy FM from about 6 a.m. to about 8 o'clock and do the business report. Because all I've known really has been business, policy, economics, etc. So come do the business report at Joy FM, and then at 8 o'clock I'll leave for British American Tobacco. And then I'll close at 5 and come back to Joy FM to come and work on Newsnight, and then do the night shift to about 9, 10 p.m.
That was a busy life.
But I found it exciting. It was a great learning opportunity because I was in finance and I've always loved finance, and broadcasting also offered an opportunity to learn a lot more beyond my closed office. So I did both until Komla of blessed memory was leaving, and then I had to make a choice and stick with one.
How was your first show, hosting the morning show?
Horrible.
Horrible?
Oh, it was horrible.
How bad? Are you the only one who saw that? There's that inclination to see your own performance as horrible when other people...
No, I think other people saw it as horrible, because I remember we got lots of text messages and calls, and people came to the station to complain that...
Who's that?
Yeah, this is not the right person to replace Komla Dumo. This guy has no... I felt terrible. I was wondering whether I had made the right decision, because here's a guy who's schooled in finance and economics and management, and this is where I wanted to go with my career. And then I'm given an opportunity to take on the biggest breakfast show in town, and I'm messing up in the first few weeks, and there's a lot of pressure, and both internally and externally, people are saying, get him off the show, get him off the show. But there were some people who kept faith with me and who believed that if I did a few things right, I would succeed. Ken Ashigbe, who was general manager at the time, Kwesi Chum, Matilda Santiesi, Kofi Usu, Cox Tamaklo, these were the people
who were the guys who were going to fire you if you needed to.
So it was good. It was good. Bennett Frimpong, Samuel Irinchi. So they kept faith with me. They threw me, into the deep end. They were very tough on me, and I think we didn't fail.
Yeah, definitely. We can all see with the benefit of hindsight that you didn't fail. So that taught you a lesson, I'm sure.
Yeah, that whatever you learn and prepare for, you can become. Because there were times when I could have very lousy shows, and then they'll tell me that no problem, you're as good as tomorrow's show. What you need is to quickly pick yourself up and learn what you need to learn, read what you need to read, so that tomorrow you can redeem yourself. And so for me, one of the major things I learned throughout my radio career, throughout my broadcasting career, is that when you make time to learn and build your capacity, you can do anything.
See, when you learn, make time to build your capacity, you can do anything. I think that's one thing that will stick with our viewers from this interview. Apart from, so yes, you hosted the morning show, filled the big shoes of Komla Dumo of blessed memory, and then you decided that, well, you draw the curtains on that part of your life.
Yes. I remember in my early days at Joy FM, I kept telling my bosses that I was going to do the show for 5 years. Nkrumah had done it for 10. So I kept making the joke that I was going to do it for 5 years, and that within those 5 years I was going to pick up my awards, hit the ratings, make the revenue, and then I can go back to what I always really wanted to do. And so by 5 years, glory to God, we had managed to hit those benchmarks. I think GJ Awards, CIMG Awards, the revenue targets were in. And so I was ready to go. But what we needed to do was to build the next generation, which is what we started doing. So we, brought a lot of young guys. And I love working with young people and training young people, though I'm a young person myself. So because of the clarity that I had in my mind that we had done what we sought to do, it was very easy for me in my conversations with my bosses to arrive at a good time to build, the relay structures, and then to move on, hoping that the relay structure
transitioned very well. Some of us felt there were some problems at the beginning because they tried a few people, and then we have who we have now.
Well, I don't think that what we planned lived to see its fulfillment. But I'm happy that the station has made the right choices at every point in time, even before I came to the station, even in bringing me on board, even in, correcting whatever they thought was wrong. And today the station flies up there and we're all excited by it.
What do you think about journalism today, or broadcasting today?
I think it's exciting. Look at you guys, very young guys here with all of these gadgets doing this, taking it to a new level. It's exciting. I think journalists in Ghana are doing very well. They're always pushing the frontiers, but there's a lot more to be done. We've done very well, but there's a lot more that we need to do. I think that one of the key things we need to do is to get a lot more depth in specialized areas. We need a lot more journalists who understand energy. Some people understand health. Some people understand finance. Some people understand, many other education, so that they can better hold our political leaders and our technocrats accountable in these specialized areas. And secondly, we need a stepping up of our attitude. We need to get to that point where we behave in a way, when we hold a bone, we don't let it go until we get to the end of it.
You think that we let things go
too easily? We pick it up, we discuss it 2-3 days, and then we move to the next one. I think that we need to do a lot more, but we're doing excellent so far, but I think that there's room to do a lot more.
Doing too well. In relation to the last interview our president had on DW and how they made him sweat, felt that we could do that with most of our politicians, and that we are not doing that very well.
Then we should take it as a cue and do a lot more.
I see. Do you miss it though, journalism?
Occasionally I do. When a big story comes up and you find your mind quickly racing into trying to understand the background, getting details, etc. You kind of catch yourself listening and wondering what should be the next thing, what should be the next angle. So occasionally I catch myself thinking in those.
Do you think you look at your career and like, oh, if I was doing this right now, this is what I
of course, you listen to your shows at the time. I haven't listened to any of my shows since I left, but I used to listen to my shows and listen to my competitors very often. And I was always looking out for my mistakes and looking out for things that were not right. And there are many, many, many things.
If someone made you a big offer today to host their morning show, would you do it?
No, my time is up.
All right,
my time is up. I'm an old man now.
Meet the Boss is brought to you by General Electric.